Macias from Falasco Wine. Matias has not done one of our video sessions before, so this is new to him, but he will be delighted to answer any questions you might have. As always, there's the question and answer button, so please do type any questions you might have as we go through the session. We also have with us today Marco Puyo from Vineyard Dagaz in Colchagua in Chile, and we'll be tasting Marco's wines a little later on in the session. As always, we really ask that you please do ask questions as we're going through. The wines are fantastic. I think you'll find much to enjoy in the samples today. And these two winemakers are at your disposal. They're here to answer any questions you may have. So please do use the Q&A. Without further ado, Amanda, I'll hand over to you and we'll start the session.
Excellent. Thank you. It's nice to be back. I'm looking forward to tasting these lovely 6 wines that I have in front of me, and starting with you, Matias. So I wanted to kind of get an overall, vision of the winery and the different labels that you have, because you've got, lots of different. We're going to be tasting some of the different labels. So can you give us a bit of an overview? Tell us about the project and what each of these kind of labels mean.
Well, hello. The Falasco wine is a big winery here in Mendoza, and here you have 3 labels or 3 different projects into the winery. The Falasco wines, the high quality wines, is for Falasco family. Is maybe 10 years ago. The most important production here is the basical wines, and this wines is for a family. It's very important, but it's very new for the project.
So how old is the winery? When was Falasco started?
Now they have 80 years.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic.
Now this in the family is 4 generations in the winery.
Excellent. And I love, so the first wine that we're going to taste is your Chateau Subsonico. Subsonico.
Yes.
Ahora tú me puedes corregir. Now you can correct my Spanish. And the labels are so radically different for this line. And so this is kind of, I'd love to know more about, what is Chateau Subsonico? Because the labels are so kind of, llamativo. They're so exciting to see. I love the bottling of these.
This is Francesco Falasco. Is the brothers of. You look like the face of Francesco with the ondas. How do you say?
The waves.
The waves of song.
The sound waves.
This is musician and they play this jockey, no?
It's interesting because looking directly at the bottle, I can't actually see the face very well, but as soon as you put it in the camera, it becomes very, very clear.
It's very crazy label for me. It's new, but it's very interesting project, because the integration or this wines is for music and wine, and for me it's very important. Make the difference between the Hermandad or Bressano, and put the correct wine in these bottles, no?
Absolutely. They have a very different, identity, the labels. So I'm assuming the wines will as well. So am I right in thinking Chateau Subsonico is your more playful, slightly kind of younger style of wines? Excellent. All right. So we're tasting, and if everyone has their tasting packs to join along with us. So we have the Malbec single vineyard. So can you tell us a little bit about, what is this single vineyard? Where does it come from? And the wine behind the sound waves.
Yes, it's important for Falasco in Uco Valley. You have a different, you have different soils and different parts or different altitude, and they choose this vineyard, the single vineyard. We have here maybe all this vineyard in a maybe new world of wine in Falasco, no? And I have a very curiosity for this Malbec. For is in Los Árboles is maybe this vineyard is maybe 15, 70 years ago, the plantation.
Wow.
And the soils is very different of Valladolid or Altamira. Is they have a different blocks of pebbles or how do you say, or sandy.
Sandy soils, yeah.
Sandy soils. I like that. It's very good Malbec for these soils, Tunuyán city. No?
Yeah, and I think Los Árboles, what's so special about this region is we often think of the Yuco Valley as very new. You know, there's a lot of new vines,
Yes.
like you said, in Guaitayeri and Altamira. And Los Árboles is one of the places where we do get these beautiful kind of older vines, which definitely kind of gives some really nice concentration to the wine. This is a really light kind of fragrant style, though. I'd love to know, anyone that's tasting along, if you have comments or questions about the wine, please do share in the Q&A. But I think this is a lovely, vibrant style. It's got really nice kind of floral notes. It's got a little bit of kind of spice and tea leaves. Really very pretty. Can you tell me a bit about how you make this wine, Matias?
Yes, it's typical. No, how do you say? It's typical. No rules. No rules for
No
making.
rules. Okay.
I use natural yeast, and they ferment it in liberty, no? I use concrete tanks in this fermentation, and then put in barrels. 12 months. I choose the second or third use barrels for this wine. I prefer the fruity or in aging. I prefer the fruity. No?
Excellent. Yeah, I think the fruit comes through as a priority in that wine. And there's that lovely texture, which I often associate more with kind of concrete aged or fermented wines as well. It's lovely. It's quite lively in the mouth. And, you know, there's lovely kind of graphite nature to the tannins there. I think it's really fun. I really enjoy tasting that wine. And I was just checking out the kind of pricing in England at $22.80. I think that's a brilliant price for that style of lovely kind of contemporary Malbec. Mark says that it's very bright in style, juicy and fruit forward. And so he asks, how is Subsonico in terms of the winemaking, the enología? How is it different to Hermandad, which is our next wine? So that's a good segue into this.
The different, yes. The real difference is choose different soils and vineyards for make choose wine. And in the fermentation, you have in Hermandad full steel tanks, inox tanks.
Okay.
And maybe here we have more precisions or more controls for the yeast or for fermentation, for temperatures. Hermandad is a blend. Here we have a blend of three varieties. Now I love the Cabernet Sauvignon. For me the best reds in my hands ever. And
your cup.
I put maybe a little bit a part of Petit Verdot for complexity or more strong, and in the Falasco family things in the very strong wines ever, and Hermandad is the for Falasco wines is the best line, or the more quantity line.
Excellent.
And Malbec is the for us is the is the major grapes here. You have I think it is maybe 90% or Falasco wines is Malbecs.
Oh wow, okay. Right. Excellent. So Malbec, very much the backbone of the winery, and also
Yes.
the backbone of this blend. So we've got predominantly Malbec. I
Yes,
assume
yes.
these are the right numbers. So 50% Malbec, 27 Cabernet Sauvignon, 20% Merlot, and then just a touch, 20% Petit Verdot, and then just a
Yes,
touch of Merlot.
yes.
Where do these, where does the grapes come from for this Hermandad blend? Which vineyards?
Yes, this vineyard is 2002.
Mhm.
No, it's different altitude of Chateau. It's more, it's near to river, and here you have a more river stones in the vineyard. I prefer the Cabernets in stone soils.
Okay.
For this wine, and maybe the Malbecs in sandy soils, which 1 meter or 1.5 meters or sandy.
Interesting. Why? Why do you prefer Cabernet in stones and Malbec in sand?
For the blends,
What does
for these
Mhm.
blends, maybe I prefer the acceleration of maduration in the Cabernet, and in different years I co-ferment the Cabernets and Malbecs. And
Oh wow, okay. So you can pick them at the same time?
yes,
Okay, excellent.
it's possible. Yes, I prefer.
Excellent. And then the addition of Petit Verdot or Merlot, that is typically done later
No, yes. The
in
Petit
blending.
Verdot is more later than Cabernet, and Merlot is the first. In the picking time, no?
Yeah, and then you'll make the final blend, and then that goes
Yes,
into
yes.
oak barrels,
Yeah.
or what's the aging?
Yes. Majorly is fermented per separate. The different tanks, or one on Merlot, one on Petit, or one on Malbec, and one on Cabernet, and then I put in the barrels for separate, and in 6 months maybe I blending and put 6 more months in barrels.
Excellent, fantastic. Well, it really shows that complexity of the blend. This one definitely has a lot more structure and richness, and almost a kind of chocolatey quality to those kind of tannins. They're a lot kind of denser, but very ripe, as you said. Mark also says that he thinks the Falascos and Los Heraldos blends are superb, including the Gran Corte. And his question is, do you prefer making blends, or do you prefer single varietal wines?
No, I prefer blends.
Why?
I love blends. Look that. Look that.
There we go. In action.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to make a blend? For example, to make the Hermandad blend,
yes.
How many hours or how many trials or how many days? What's the process in terms of getting to the final decision?
Maybe it's the day, or I choose the correct blend, and then we have a team of winemakers, and put in the table and tasting every single bottles and the blendings in team. Yes.
Fantastic. I always think that blending is really showing the, you know, the art of the winemaker and kind of orchestrating their final, you know, decision and vision for the wine. I think it must be I would find it quite difficult, I think, to make so many decisions and just kind of end up with one wine. But it's, you know, it's definitely an art. And it shows. It's lovely. That kind of complexity of the blend really comes through. We've got also your Bressano here as well, which
it's a blend too.
Is also a blend. Malbec. So tell me a bit about this blend. And I want to show the back label. This is obviously in Spanish, but I think the back label is brilliant at illustrating the blend. So can you tell me a bit about, you know, what is this blend?
Yes, I personally, I love Gualtieri and Vistaflores and Altamira too, but my heart is in Gualtieri now. For us, or for me in person, this blend is a photograph of Uco Valley now. We have a 3 altitudes, we have 3 different soils, we have 3 different climate or variation of climate. Is good for me, and we choose the different Malbecs or different DNA Malbecs in
the DNA of Malbecs.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We taste separate. It's different wines of this blend. It's 3 different Malbecs. We have more acidity or more fruity or more strong wines. And in case the Gualtieri is more colors, and Vistaflores more flowers or more fruity, or more red wine. It's good.
Excellent. And do you always have the same proportion of different vineyards going into this wine, or does it change each year?
No, I change every year, and I think it's better for the blends. No repeat the percents of different blends.
Okay, excellent. And do you know, for this vintage, you know, roughly what percentage of the vineyards we have? ¿Qué porcentaje de los viñedos en este corte?
Sí. In this case, in this year, Gualtieri is more the in the vineyards is more young. Yes. And the oldest is Vistaflores, and the young son is the Gualtieri and Altamira.
Okay.
And maybe the strongest of young vineyards, perhaps the in the blends, Vistaflores is the 50%.
Okay.
And Paraje Altamira and Gualtieri is 20 or 30.
Excellent. Delicious. I think you definitely feel a lot of the Gualtieri in the palate, even if it's not the highest percentage. That kind of more energetic tannin and backbone that really comes from Gualtieri is very present in this wine, with that kind of like floral silkiness of Vistaflores coming through as well. So I think what you said about each vineyard is very clear in the wine. We have a question here. What is your next blending project? And what grape variety would you like to work with that you don't currently work with? Is there a grape variety that you would dream of working with in the future?
Yes. I'm here we have different bottles of Cab Franc and Cab Sauvignon, or in the same soils, and I really like make the Cab Sav in Gualtieri.
Interesting.
Yes. It's difficult. It's not the best soil for cabs, but I I choose the
challenge.
Yes.
Excellent. And are there any new blends that might come in the portfolio in the future to look for?
Yes.
Or is that a secret?
No, it's not secret. Maybe now it's not it. We don't have secrets in the make wines. It's more. I young and I don't have secrets. Yes. We are for next year. We have 2 blends more in the Hermandad with Syrah.
Interesting.
And we have in the barrels Marcelin.
Ooh, fun. I don't know anyone doing, or there's very little Marcelin in Argentina, isn't there? That's an interesting grape.
It's little percent of Hermandad, but we have a Marcelin and Pinot.
Exciting.
Maybe yes, maybe we have a blending with Pinot and Marcelin.
Pinot and Marcelin. Okay, that does sound interesting. All right.
Yes.
So 2026 or 2027 that we can expect those?
It's difficult for me. I exactly for 26.
Okay.
But the commercials or the marketing.
Yeah, that's a different question. Excellent, fabulous. Well, if anyone has any questions for Matias before we welcome in Marco, then please do. This is your chance to send any questions. I think for me, it really is quite clear. I was curious about the kind of different identities of the different labels, and I think it really is quite clear through the tasting. I loved the freshness and the vibrancy of the Subsonico. The complexity of the Hermandad Blend really coming through, and then I think, with this last wine, we really see your kind of mastery and your vision of Malbec coming to the fore, and such an energetic wine for 2018 as well. I mean, it's already, 7 years old, but it feels very youthful and vibrant. Do you have any favorite pairings for these wines? Is there any food, maridaje that you particularly recommend?
I'm Argentinian.
Of course.
The first is asado, no?
Yeah. Asado.
Yesterday we put many cheese for this wine, and it's very good, very good.
Nice. Yeah, I think I would. I was recently.
Maybe with the Chateau, the pasta is very good.
Yeah, I think the Subsonico could go with much lighter dishes as well. I was thinking, maybe like a nice kind of aubergine parmigiana or something like that would be really delicious with the Subsonico. And yeah, I agree on the asado front for the last 2. Definitely good asado wines. Fabulous. Well, Aaron, if you'd like to bring Marco in, and we'll move across the Andes to Chile. And thank you very much, Matias. It was really nice to taste through those wines. And an absolute pleasure to talk to you. And I'm really excited about the kind of direction of the winery and such kind of exciting blends happening in the cellar as well. We look forward to tasting that Marcelin Pinot Noir in the future. That sounds quite fun.
It's in the food now.
Oh, okay, excellent. So even more kind of blends going on in terms of the oak regime as well. When did you start working with Foudre?
For this blend, in June.
Okay, lovely. New. Okay, excellent. Another kind of.
It's used Foudre. They have we ferment the Chardonnay in this food, and now we put the blend of Marcelin and Pinot.
Excellent, fun, wonderful. One last comment from Michael here saying a really satisfying group of all three wines, all very enjoyable in their own way, which I absolutely agree. And I know that these, you know, often shine in the portfolio of Condor and do really well in the UK. So thank you very much for sharing those with us, Matias. And welcome, Marco. Let's travel. We're going to go over to the other side now. So over to Chile. And, you know, can you introduce your project? Because I obviously met you many years ago as winemaker in one of, you know, the biggest wineries in Chile. And then, you know, you started your own project. Can you tell me a bit about the inspiration for Dagaz and, you know, what it means to you?
Hi, Amanda. Hello, everyone. It's a real pleasure to introduce my winery and also to present my wines with Condor, our importer in UK. We are very happy to work with Condor, with the team. And and really, I am winemaker for 33 years. The main part of my life is my passion, is my work, and it's my life. Really, it's part of my life. It's not just a work. Yes, I worked during 25 years for big, medium, small wineries in Chile. And in 2006, during my time in Los Vascos, the investment of Lafitte Rothschild in Chile, I lived in that moment in Colchagua, especially in Peralillo, and a small town where is located Los Vascos. And since the beginning of my career, I thought into to have my own winery or my own wines, and then I started in 2005 buying a property without anything, just some trees, not far from the Pacific Ocean, 34 kilometers from the sea, with a very important influence of a breeze and wind. It's more a fresh place than the main part of Colchagua, and with granite. The origin of soil is granite, and gave special conditions for reds, especially. And I planted the vineyard in 2006. And in that moment, I took the decision to plant, and I continue living in near to this place. It's the reason that really looked for a place not far from Los Vascos, because right now they produce, and I suppose that in that moment produce good wines. And I planted vineyard. I put 4 varieties: Cabernet Sauvignon, Carmenere, Petit Verdot, and Syrah, 4 reds. Really, in that moment, I didn't be very sure that maybe are going to be successful or not, but I start selling just grapes. And after several years working, working in BSPT Wine Group, San Pedro, the second largest winery in Chile, or group of wineries in Chile, I took the decision to left the company and start selling my own wine in 2018. In that winery in San Pedro, I was the technical director for 12 years. And then in 18, I start selling my own wines. And in 15, we put the name Dagaz. Dagaz is a room, it's a symbol from the north of Europe. Maybe from the Vikings. My partner proposed me this name. Really, I didn't understand well, because why he proposed me this name, but he explained me that means the beginning of a new path, a new road. And then and he explained me that maybe it's for the moment of my career, because we're starting a new way, a new road in this moment. And then we start to sell the wines in 18. Then 7 years after, I'm very happy, because really it's a very strong business, but really working also with my family, with my wife, with right now with one of my sons. Really, I'm very happy, and we're growing in different countries, including UK, of course. We're selling in 13 different countries, including Chile. In Chile, it's very successful. Then, yeah, the project is going well. This is part of the history.
It's perfect. And Dagaz, you know, as a new pathway makes a lot of sense. I was curious as to what the name meant, but it must be quite exciting after, you know, so many years working for other wineries to really pave your own path, making the wines that you like. And I think it makes it is a really distinct part of Colchagua, and we often think of Colchagua as, you know, this very kind of more entre cordilleras area, slightly warmer, slightly heavier soils. And I think the granite does kind of mark in your wines. I've tasted them before, and this freshness that we get. So the first wine that we're tasting is called Granite Estate, and it is your Carmenere. So can you tell us a little bit about, because Carmenere, obviously we often have the Carmenere grown on clays, we sometimes have the more kind of stony soils. What for you makes the kind of granite connection clear with Carmenere? How does that differ to other Carmeneres from Chile?
Yeah. First, I'm very lucky because I had the opportunity to make Carmenere in different places, including Maipo, Curicó, Maule, and different places. And really, when I tried for first time the wines that we can produce in that place, I felt that we have more freshness, more acidity, more red fruit. Years ago, maybe 10 years ago, when I picked the grapes, I picked later, but right now we're picking in the correct moment where we have more red fruit. And finally, the main important thing that we have some difference with the rest of Colchagua, or maybe the main part of the Chilean production, is that we have more fresh wines with more acidity. We don't use too much oak in our wines. Normally, for this wine, we use just oaks of with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 uses in order to don't have strong oak in the wine. It's just a complement, and it's the reason that this one, and you can feel that it's not oaky. It's more wine than oak. It's more fruit than oak, and the acidity is good. It has a long finish, and some people say me that it's not the traditional Carmenere that Chile produce, because and also it's maybe a little bit spicy wine, but not green, because the granite is not a rich soil in terms of elements, minerals. It's more poor, and then the vigor of the grapes, or sorry, the vigor of a vineyard is not a lot. Then
it's lower.
A lot of sun that not burn, but give light
ripens
to the ripeness to the bunches, and really we don't have any problems with greenness, and really we pick not very early, and we have a good result.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's got more kind of like that. For me, it's slightly more the pink pepper, kind of pink peppercorn notes rather than the green. I don't find any green in this at all, actually. It's more of that kind of exotic spices as well. Tracy has a question. So what is it that you like about Carmenere? What makes Carmenere as a variety special?
Yeah, but really the reason that I planted Carmenere was that really Chile, I think that is a well-known place that produce Carmenere. I think that could be a national variety. Cabernet Sauvignon is more planted in Chile, but Carmenere is growing. And I wanted to know the result of Carmenere in that place. And I think, and I like also a good Carmenere. And finally, it was, at the beginning, was a trial, a big trial, really,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
planted 7 hectares. And really, I planted Carmenere because I like the variety. I believe in this variety. I think that Chile need to have a known variety. It has a French origin, but for some reason, maybe I know, the French didn't plant again. And the climate of Chile is fantastic for this variety because Chile is warmer than Bordeaux, the origin of Carmenere. And also during the harvest time, we don't have normally problems. We don't have rains, important rains then. And like Carmenere is a variety that we pick later than the rest of the varieties. Maybe in France, they don't want to have this variety because normally they have problems with rains or problems to ripe well. But in Chile is the place. The climate is good, and really it's because it's a variety that have good conditions and good quality in Chile.
Absolutely, it's
Carmenere.
magical. Yeah, it's a magical story of Carmenere in Chile.
And really, is the wine that we are selling more.
It's one of the growth wines as well in Chile. Like, it always surprises me to look at the statistics that Carmenere is the one that continues growing, which I think is so impressive considering it is relatively new in the world scene. So we're going to move on to your next wine here, which is your Kolwe vineyard. How do we say this, Marco? Kolwe?
Yeah. Our appellation in Colchagua, because Colchagua is the big appellation, and the location is Pumanque. Pumanque is when I use this example to explain Pumanque. Pumanque in Colchagua is like Pauillac in Bordeaux. To have an idea, because Pauillac in Bordeaux maybe is well known and Pumanque is not well known. And Kolwe is the name of the specific place where is located the vineyard, and is the name of the vineyard. It's the name of the property, Kolwe. And Kolwe means transparent water, clear water, really.
Nice.
And I put this name for the place. And the origin of this word is a native name, Indian name, and it's pure Cabernet Sauvignon. Come from one block every year. It's a single vineyard wine, and we make this wine every year from the same block. The fermentation and all the process is the same. Year, I'm picking earlier in 19. That is the wine that the main part of the people that now are trying the wine having to taste. We're picking a little bit later. Right now in 2004-5, we're picking earlier, looking for more red fruit, and I wanted to show well the character of Cabernet Sauvignon from this place. And for this reason, I don't use traditional barrels. I use foudres of 2,500 liters, and I storage there during 20 months, almost 2 years. Normally, I pick in March, and I bottle at the beginning of 2 years after, normally January. 19 was bottling, I bottled in 21, January, February 21.
Excellent.
Then is wine that is in bottle for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
This is the idea of this wine.
Excellent. It's definitely got lovely Cabernet characteristics coming through, but also that kind of freshness of the more kind of coastal Pumanque, Pauillac region. Can you tell me a bit about your journey with Cabernet Sauvignon? Because obviously in your 33 vintages, I'm sure you've made a lot of Cabernet in that time. How do you see Chilean Cabernet Sauvignon, the journey, the evolution that it's gone through?
Yeah, Cabernet Sauvignon is the main variety in Chile. In terms of hectares, in terms of vineyards, and also production. and it's the variety that Chile export more. And really, I had the opportunity to make Cabernet Sauvignon from different areas. Several Cabernet Sauvignon from Maipo, especially maybe you know, near Alto Maipo. Right now, I make the wines of another winery in Maipo, El Principal. And I have the opportunity to compare the wine from Colchagua Costa, because Pumanque is one of the locations that is a legal Colchagua Costa, because it exists 4 different locations in Colchagua Costa: Lolol, Pumanque, Paredones, and Litueche. And really, I feel that the ones from Pumanque, granite and cool breeze, has more red fruit, maybe more grip, because I feel more, not necessarily tannins. Yeah, the tannins, but also something from the soil. Some people say minerality, but it's wine that has more grip, are long, good finish, good acidity. Wines from Cabernet Sauvignon from Maipo are good, maybe more round, soft, more softness, not too much acidity. Then right now I'm making totally two different Cabernet Sauvignon, and I enjoy it a lot, because with the same concept, with the same vinification, finally in May I have a totally different
wine.
wines. Yeah, and if you compare with the wines that I made in San Pedro years ago, 10 years ago, yeah, it's totally different. Then it's a different proposal for the clients, for the people, in order to have a fresher Cabernet Sauvignon with more acidity, a different Cabernet Sauvignon. And this is our idea, to have some difference from the rest of Colchagua and from the rest of Chile. This is our target, yes.
Yeah, for me, the kind of granite always comes through a little bit in a slightly more sanguine or bloody kind of flavor, which is, as Matias referred to, the asado, you know, part of the Chilean tradition as well. You know, that kind of like bloodiness, I think, goes really nicely with a good Chilean asado. So Mark says that he has very happy memories of visiting you in Pumanque earlier this year, and absolutely love the wines. And his question is, why do you focus on red wines? And do you have any white wine projects in the pipeline?
Yes, right. Our focus is in red wines. Maybe because, not maybe. The reason is that when I planned my vineyard in 2006, in my mind, I had the idea, and really, in my experience, the more successful wines in this area were reds and are reds. It's the reason that I planted reds in this place. But years after, I start on a small project in Itata. Itata is a location south of Santiago, 500 kilometers to the south, and it's in a special place called Guariligüe, Coelemu. That is 20 kilometers from the sea. And in 18, I start making a Sanso. Sanso is
it's delicious. I've had it before. Very nice, lovely,
then
vibrant, juicy
style. 8 different editions of Sanso. And in 2024, I start making a Chardonnay from that place. And I'm going to launch at the end of this year. Then it's my first white in Dagaz. And the reason of Itata is because I love this place. The quality of the grapes that grow there is very good. I am the consultant of a small winery there. There are specialists in Sanso, País, Semillon. We make a nice white blend. And since a lot of years, I buy him. I have a long-term contract for Sanso. And right now, we start working with a vineyard, a very old vineyard. It was totally abandoned for a lot of years, and we start recovering the vineyard, and we'll start making wine again 3 years ago. And in 2024 is the first time that I bottle a wine from there. Then is a new wine from Dagaz, and I hope to
fantastic.
have this wine in UK also.
Excellent. Oh, can't wait to taste that. We've got lots of exclusive secrets coming out in this session. I'm excited. All right, so our last wine of Dagaz that we're tasting together is Tierras de Pumanque. So can you tell us a bit about this wine, and also tell us about the label, which is really quite beautiful?
Yeah, first, the label is based of a paint from the 16th century. It's not exactly paint, but when we thought in 2015 with the designer, I said him that I want to have a different label, maybe with old something special, and he proposed me this label, and really it's a party of Baco, the god of
Bacchus.
Baco
I see him here.
That is Baco on the top, and we have
here, okay, who's this guy?
We have a press behind Baco to press the grapes, an old press with pressure. And this is the meaning of the label. The
Excellent.
Party and music.
Perfect. I love it.
And what is the blend? Because it's Tierras de Pumanque is 18. Yeah, it's a wine that we bottled almost 6 years ago, then has 6 years in bottle. It's the first wine that we made with the vintage 16. Was the first vintage that Dagaz produced. I start with the high-end wine, and then I develop other 2 different levels. And for me, it's a wine that represent better the place, because it's a blend between Cabernet Sauvignon, Carmenere, and Petit Verdot, 3 Bordeaux varieties. And during 7 years, since 19 until 15, I just made trials and sell grapes. And every year I made 1 barrel to 3 barrels. Finally, I sell the wines between my friends. I drink the wines with my friends. And I have per year, I have about 300, 400 bottles since not 19, 09. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because the first vintage was 2009. And then during the trial years, I understood what are the best places to obtain Cabernet Sauvignon, Carmenere, Petit Verdot, and finally in 2016, I made for first time Tierras de Pumanque. The name is because the location is Pumanque, is Pumanque land, and it's a blend where every year the main part is Cabernet Sauvignon, normally between 69 and 28 is the history. Then the second variety is Petit Verdot, and the third variety is Carmenere. And always we use the 3 varieties in the blend Tierras de Pumanque, and it's wine that I aged in French oak barrels during 22 months, where 1/3 is new, 1/3 second use, and 1/3 third use. And this is Tierras de Pumanque, and right now we're selling 21, really, because the time ran.
I'm sure,
Yeah, but it's always good to try a wine that has more time in bottle and to see the evolution, and it's good to try a wine with 6 years.
Absolutely. I think sometimes we don't leave wines long enough. We're very kind of impatient to drink them. So it's nice to try it with some age. We have a couple comments and questions here. So, Tracy's asking, what is it that you're looking for in this blend? And then Mark also asks, does the blend change each year?
That really, I have my target in terms of style of wine, because when always I made the main part of Cabernet Sauvignon from the best place from the vineyard, from the granite soil, Petit Verdot and Carmenere. And my object is to maybe to have the same style every year, but depending the vintage, because during the last since the beginning I had some vintages, rainy vintages like 2016, hot warm vintages like 17, good vintages like medium in terms of climate and good for Chile like 18. But my object is to show and to express the terroir of Pumanque, to show the place and to show the blend of my varieties that we have in the place, and express the granite and the cool breeze that we have in this place. And it's the only one wine in Dagaz that I put new oak. Yeah, but I put new oak because I'm thinking in a wine that live a long time and looking for more complexity. To have a more complex wine with more dimensions, built with 3 different varieties, more the barrels, but not. I use barrels, but not too much. We don't have barrels with too much toast. I want to respect well the wine, not just the fruit, the wine.
Excellent.
And this is the object of Pumanque. Express the place, express the 3 varieties, Bordeaux varieties that we have in the vineyard, in the property.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very, for me, that's very clear in your wines, this kind of fingerprint of Pumanque, this, lovely kind of more coastal terroir of Colchagua, that cool breeze, as you said. I think it really comes through, and with the lovely kind of granite soils too. I know that we're running out of time, so if anyone has any questions, we'll invite also Matias back in the room. So if there are any questions before we wrap up, you have 2 minutes in which to submit them. But I think it's wonderful to really see your vision, coming to life, Marco and Dagaz, and this new direction that you've kind of made. And, it's a direction you've been following for years now. And it really kind of shows in the wines. And it's nice from my perspective here. I've had the opportunity to try a couple different vintages, and, kind of seeing the journey of the wines as well through those vintages. I think it's really beautiful and exciting also to know about the new Tata wines that will be coming forward in the future. So thank you very much for this opportunity. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you and be able to taste this side of the Andes, and also it's been a pleasure to be able to taste with Matias as well, the other side of the Andes. I think they're very kind of complementary in showing each wines, each profile really showing a postcard of their place, the Yucco Valley over here and then Pumanque over there.
Okay. No, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, everyone that participates in the webinar. And also, thank you very much, Aaron. Thank you, Condor. And I was very, very happy with you, with the group, presenting the wine and talking about my wine. That is my passion and it's my life. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Mark adds one final comment to say that they've all shown really well, and it's a nice opportunity to taste those premium wines from both Argentina and Chile.
Fantastic. Thank you, Marco. Wonderful wines. I should just say, unfortunately, Matias has had to leave the webinar. He is, of course, at the winery, and has been called away.
Blending.
So,
He's been blending.
Exactly. I mean, clearly he was in the middle of blending.
We saw him.
So his apologies, but yeah, he wanted to thank everyone for attending, of course, and to tasting the wines as well. Thanks, Marco. Always a pleasure to listen to you talk about your wines. So much passion, so much interest as well. I mean, you clearly an experienced winemaker. You know what you're talking about, and you really bring those wines alive. And yeah, I don't know about everybody else today, but just beautiful expression. And you're quite right. Your style of Carmenere, I do think, is quite different to a lot of the Carmeneres you find in Chile, because it's just so uniquely fantastic. You absolutely harvest at the right time. You know what you're doing with the vinification, and the expression is clearly, you know, the greatest expression you can get from that grape. So we win an awful lot of thanks for Carmenere with that wine. And so, yeah, keep up the good work on that one. Anyway, I see we're getting towards the end of the hour there, or not too many minutes away. So all I was going to say was that's our last virtual session for 2025. Thanks to everybody who's been taking part this year. There's been fantastic topics, really nice wines we've tasted as well. But the most thanks I'm going to give to Amanda Barnes, MW, as always, is our hostess with the mostess, who does a fantastic job teasing out all these little vignettes out of our winemakers.
I think we got quite a few exclusives today, Aaron, in terms of the wines coming out.
You've been compiling a shopping list of new wines for Condor.
I
have. No, really fascinating, Marco. Looking forward to trying some of those. Definitely. I shall look for samples in due course. But no, it's really good to hear the new things that are going on, and back with the Falasco wine projects as well. When they mentioned Marcelin as well, that's an interesting one. Certainly, yeah, we went to see how that turns out. Anyway, without further ado, I'll finish things there. But thanks again to our speakers today, and to Amanda for hosting, and thanks to everybody for participating. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Salud.
Bye for now.
Salud. Cheers. Have a good
Salud.
time.
Cheers.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.